I have had that fear in the past, fear of like buying an investment property or taking on so much risk.
If you have that same attitude 15 years ago, you wouldn't move forward. I've got Bernadette, David here.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on again.
Thanks for joining us.
I now realise it's just a game. It's a game of investing.
You can make your own destiny. Perfect action beats perfect inaction every single day of the week.
If you're not going to take those risks, you won't get the reward.
If you're listening to this and you know you've got equity in your property, you know you've got borrowing capacity, you know the market's going to continue to go up, I've got to ask the question, why are you not taking action? G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Australian Property Investment Podcast. We're calling the big guns today. I've got Bernadette, David here. Not in the studio, we're in our new office today, which I think is very exciting.
Absolutely, and I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on again.
Thanks for joining us. I think the next time we do this will be in our podcast studio. So if you've been following our journey, you would know that we've set up our new office. When I say we, I say Bernie's had built this, not physically, but behind the scenes. We bought this Woonona office 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, I'd say 2.5 years ago.
Yep. So the idea for today's episode is going to take you on the journey. We don't often do behind the scenes. I think sometimes we stay private by choice. I think a little bit to our detriment because people do want to hear the journey. And you know what? We're not big social media people in the sense that we're not saying, look at us.
I think we're always more looking forward. I think we do one thing and we in the past have been quite bad at celebrating that thing, that success. And we're just looking to the next thing and the next thing. But we do have to get a little bit better about celebrating our successes and sharing them. I think because people learn through experience, which is one of the topics we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Today.
And I think when we really unpack the journey, when I was doing some notes in the prep for this, there's a lot that's gone into our journey. We are 12 years married.
12 years married in October.
Dated for 3.5 years before that, for example. So
15.5 years together. We started the business we started a version of the business 6 months after we were married, which was 11 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, when we first met, I didn't even have a job.
When he first met, he said he was on a break, a career break. And my mum said to me, what does that mean? And I said, I don't know, but it sounds fancy.
I'd lost my job.
Unemployed.
I lost my job at the height of the GFC.
That's right.
Is what happened. Things have definitely changed since then, over 15 years. And I think that's probably where I want us to really kick off and go, right, a lot of people that we deal with right here, right now, go, geez, I don't want a big mortgage. I'm scared. And if you have that same attitude and if we sat back on our fear 15 years ago, you wouldn't move forward. I subscribe to the philosophy of bite off more than you can chew and chew like crazy. That will resonate with some clients. Other clients will just go, no, I want to play a safe game. You hear Damien Walker in our team talk, Bernie's brother, my brother-in-law. He was scared about getting his first loan, thinking that was sizable. His regret now is that he wished he'd borrowed more and bought more as well. And that goes for any investor that on their journey. When I speak to them over time, they go, I feared my first property or that second purchase, but looking back in hindsight, I wish I'd pulled the trigger, bought more. No one ever regrets going and buying more when they had the chance to.
I resonate with that because I have had that fear in the past, fear of like buying an investment property or taking on so much risk. And over time, and I've been in the game now, or this business for 11 years on the journey, but maybe 8 years since I quit my corporate job. And I don't want this to sound flippant, but I now realize it's just a game. And I know that sounds like I don't care, but it's a game of investing. And if you're not going to take those risks, you won't get the reward. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm not talking that you have to buy, a rural property in the middle of nowhere for 200,000 and you're going to get nothing like that, but calculated risks and action to get the reward. And if you can make it like a little bit, not playful, but not be so hard on yourself that it has to be perfect. But hey, what were the learnings that I got? What were the wins that I got? Like one of the first properties that you purchased, we renovated it and we overcapitalized. Like we spent way more than we needed to, but we learned so much from that experience. We sold that property at a profit, which was wonderful. Could we have made more of a profit if we didn't overcapitalize? Yes, we could have, but we did it. We did it and we learned from it.
Heaps from it. Learned heaps. We'll talk, and I'll go through an entire journey, kind of what we've bought, start to finish, where we've ended up, where we're going as well. I think that's probably, again, we talk about where we're always trying to get to next, but there's a chance just for us to reflect. If you're a seasoned listener, you'll be familiar with some of our journey as well. If you're new, this is a really good chance to get to know who's who, what we stand for and what we're about. I think becomes really important because the level of experience that we've had, there'd be a handful of mortgage brokers that would probably sit in this space as well. And I probably know the brokers that have done some amazing things on the personal level, on a professional level, building the team. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that sometimes we're a little bit guarded because we are private by nature. But I think it's really a good chance for us to go, hey, we're going to level with you because everything you're feeling, experiencing, the stuff that's going to keep you up at night, probably we've probably got a little bit more experience because we've bitten off a lot more than we can chew sometimes as well.
We've had all those feelings, all those regrets, mistakes.
Are we making the right decisions?
Are we making the right decisions?
We're a couple in business. We're a couple when it comes to finance as well. So there's quite a few layers that I feel you will hopefully get the experience share, and that's what this episode's all about. So let me start where we were, and you started with that first purchase. So let's put it here. I was a first home buyer.
Yep.
Bought the first home owner grants. I bought a really terrible property in hindsight, but how can you say it was terrible when it got me in the market and got me some profit at the end of it?
Yep. And by terrible, just to give people some idea, it was an apartment. It overlooked a cemetery. It had
busy road.
It had no natural light and was on a busy road. So it was like all the things that you're like, oh, don't do that. We did, or Aaron did.
I had no idea about loans. At that stage,
I do believe though you're at CBA at the time.
I was working at CBA.
Yep.
So if you're not aware, I used to work for Commonwealth Bank in the marketing team, working with closely with mortgage brokers. That got me talking some type of language of finance because there were a couple of people in the bank that were buying properties, which I thought was fantastic. Just whet my appetite to go right. The first purchase I made was an apartment, like we said, in North Parramatta. I bought that through one of my dad's cricket buddies who was a real estate agent. That was the only knowledge I had. He goes, look, this would be a good property. I think I bought that for $350,000.
Yep.
Something silly like that.
Yep.
We ended up selling quite a few years later for about $650K, thereabouts.
Yeah. With a reno.
With a reno. So what we did was I bought that, got the first homeowner grant, which I think was $14,000 from the government.
Yep.
No stamp duty. I had a minimum deposit. I was on a decent income, as a young grad, and all it did was get me into the market. So claimed that as my primary place of residence. Like we said, we were renting at the time. We then moved in. We renovated it.
I believe
renovated the market.
Before we renovated it, though, to take a step back, we did get it revalued.
Yep.
We pulled equity, and then you purchased another property in Liverpool.
Yep.
So
which is another great investment property, which is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom unit overlooking Liverpool train station, which is a cracker property when I think back out. You know what was great? I had the same tenants in there for like 6 years.
Yeah, they were good.
I'll never forget, like the real estate agent said they were migrating out from New Zealand. They didn't have a rental ledger. Would you give them a chance? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Let's give them a shot. And they ended up becoming like the best tenants.
Yeah, they looked after the property so well. Yeah.
Paid their rent on time every time. And again, learning from that, becoming a landlord, there's a small element of power that comes with like someone's future and ability to rent a property falls into your domain. So be a good landlord is probably what I learnt. I took a risk on them and they repaid that 10x. No turnover. They cared for the property. There was no maintenance on that as well. And again, we talk about the power of leverage off the back of having those 2 units. We were able to pull out equity to finance our wedding.
To finance our wedding, yes.
Which again,
which
mistakes. I financed the 350Z convertible. Again, we talk about mistakes that we've made.
Okay, guys, we're in our 20s, all right? So no judgments, please.
But you make these decisions in your 20s, and there was little experience. There was no buyer's agents, so the proposition was unheard of at that point. So I was doing it all myself. You know, sub 300K investment properties. Could I have bought those, instead of buying those two, bought a property out at, say, I don't know, Seven Hills or Blacktown? Yeah, but my ego would never have let me buy land at that time in like Doonside or Penrith or Campbelltown. They just weren't great areas to be buying investment properties. Like, no one was thinking that way. It was like, buy a unit if you can afford to get in. So what I really want you to get out of that is sometimes making a decision and getting into the market is better than agonizing and not taking any action to get in. So when you fast forward, in our 20s, we bought two properties in Sydney. We were renting, and then I started the business when we were newly married.
Yep.
And that was a mortgage choice business. I left Commonwealth Bank. I bought a mortgage choice franchise. We had no savings at that point as well. But what I did was I bought a decent loan book, which was in Surrey Hills / Alexandria, because the guy was retiring. Now, inadvertently, again, stepped into another landmine, which is a franchise business, which, 12 months into the mortgage choice network, realized that, one, I'd outgrown it. Two, I could never see myself as a long-term play.
Yeah.
I was reading in the AFR recently about Aussie, that's another franchise model as well. They're now fighting the franchise or Aussie's owned by Lendy. Lendy's losing money to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars a year, and they're fighting them because they've got issues around their commission payments. The same would be happening at Mortgage Choice. I was pretty vocal at that point, going Mortgage Choice is a bit of a sham. Anyone that owns a Mortgage Choice business, I feel sorry for, because they don't actually own an asset, they don't own a business. Who can you sell an Aussie or a Mortgage Choice business to? And most of the time, the network spent their time complaining about the model as opposed to trying to grow their business. And I knew at that point I needed to get out. There was a mad broker, Daniel O'Brien, who I caught up with one day. Daniel changed my entire trajectory. He said to me, mate, I would leave tomorrow if I had the chance. And that's pretty much what I did. I walked out of that Mortgage Choice business. I didn't sell it. I walked out with zero. But all I knew was I had to get out to start Atelier. And that's pretty much what happened. I came back to Bernie that night. I said, we're selling. I think on the way home from Daniel's office.
You called me and you said, hey, Daniel says that we should go out on our own. And I think I hung the phone up on you because we had only just started to turn a profit after having no income for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
So that conversation landed very well, as you can imagine. But on discussion, on reflection, best decision.
If you'd sat there and done the numbers, we could push through a little bit and done the spreadsheet. I don't live in and that's probably one of the things that I don't live in spreadsheets. I'll make a decision. I'm like, this is it. Whereas when I have clients, investors that live in spreadsheets, quite frankly, I don't get along with those clients because I'm like, the spreadsheets are static numbers.
Yeah,
you can make your own destiny.
Which I believe is sort of quite unique. Like, I know there are other brokers out there like that, but I think if you're speaking to Aaron, if you're speaking to people in our team, yes, the numbers and the detail is super important. Repayments, money in and out. People that get lost or attached to those spreadsheets often result in having paralysis analysis and make no decision and take no action. And will sit there for like a year, 2 years and come back to us and ask us to review numbers and back and forth.
The amount of times I get strategies that get re-forwarded to me after 2 years ago, man, I should get in. I was like, if you bought 2 years ago,
yes,
we would not be having this conversation.
If you had just taken the action, said yes, got the pre-approval, bought that property, despite, because it's never perfect. It's no one's situation's ever perfect, no property's ever perfect, no loan's ever perfect. And when people can accept that, more of that game mentality, right?
Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single day of the week.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about us as a couple. I've never bought shares. The only time I bought shares was when I was at Commonwealth Bank and I got employee shares.
Yep.
As part of my program.
I have bought some shares for us.
I don't buy shares. I will invest that money into myself and into this business because I will get a much greater rate of return by investing in ourselves, our team, and myself. because I can control that outcome. Whereas in shares, I just don't understand. I personally don't understand it because the CEO has an affair and now suddenly my shares are worth less. Like Tesla is probably a good example. Elon Musk goes a little bit off the rails and Tesla shares drop. I don't like that level of inability to control my assets. Property, I can go off, I can renovate, I can add a bedroom, bathroom, increase the value, get it revalued. So from my perspective, when I see business owners that buy shares, I ask massive questions of that.
See, I don't mind shares as much. I think shares is a part of a balanced portfolio. Everyone has their own risk appetite. But what I love about property is the ability to leverage.
Yeah.
You can leverage a property in Australia up to 90%, sometimes 95%. Or if you don't want to pay LMI, up to 80%. Shares, you can't do that. Shares, you can get a margin loan. If the share value drops, then you have to repay the margin loan. So for me, it's the leverage that you get. It's the equity creation that you can make. It's you put 20 grand in with new paint, new carpet.
Then you get depreciation off the back of that.
Yep.
You then get it revalued. You strip the equity and you go again.
Correct.
And it's such a rinse and repeat formula. The entire economy in Australia is built around property.
Yep.
We are business owners, and as our businesses continue to truck along, where we're now making a lot more profit these days, our problems are slightly different from a tax perspective. We then have different outlets to channel profit into going and buying more property, which is what we've done. And new levels equals new devils. So we've had to unlock new levels when it comes to, say, trust companies. Putting that into super, for example. And I think for us, having that level of experience going, we've been there. We're now 10 years into business, for example, next year. You look at where the business milestones sit, number of businesses in our industry, 50% will fail in the first 18 months.
Yes.
We've got past that. The 3-year mark becomes a milestone. The 5-year profitability becomes a milestone. 10 years in business becomes a different milestone as well. The power of a decade from our perspective is massive. And the amount of times that we see people give up way too quickly on the journey, if you just trusted yourself and sat back for 10 years and did the hard work, the compound effect of hard work at the very start, I can tell you now 10 years in gives you massive dividends instead of the quick wins that sometimes people are chasing or the short-term decision as well. And that's, again, when we talk about the experience, if we look at the 10-year mark, we've grown team. Yes, we've exited team. We've now bought this commercial premises, which we operate out of. What else has happened in that 10-year journey from business?
We spoke about the 2 investment properties. We renovated North Parramatta. We sold that. We purchased a off-the-plan apartment in Little Bay.
Yep. Which we tried to on-sell.
Which we tried to on-sell on settlement for a couple of reasons, because the construction got pushed out. We couldn't on-sell.
Little Bay became a bit of a handball because where we were buying was right near the beach in Little Bay. And then there was a block of land behind it, and Meriton went and then acquired that land, and then were able to get Randwick Council to overturn limits on heights. And we're like, this is crazy. Like, they were wielding so much power. They just build these homogenous big buildings, and we're like, this is not great for us. And at that point, we were the 2 of us, no kids, and we're thinking about, hey, do we start a family? And like, we don't want to be in Sydney in a 2-bedroom unit trying to raise a family with this Meriton building hanging over us, and we tried to exit that. We then kept it. That got completed.
Yep. We
sold it.
Settled on it. We
rented it out.
Yeah. And then we had moved
down
the coast.
Yeah. Correct. So again, those that have followed our journey, we then moved out of Sydney. We moved to a suburb called Thirroul, hour and a bit south of Sydney. Wonderful place to land. We thought we'd keep renting for a little bit to make sure we loved the area. We did fall in love with the area. We then had our eldest Sienna as well, which is great. And then we were pregnant with our second child, and literally 8 months.
I was 8 months pregnant, and then we were given notice by our landlords to vacate. And that was a turning point for us.
Time.
And rent vesting served us incredibly well. Well, it was us, dinks, double income, no kids. It even served us while we had our eldest. And then to be pregnant
and
to be given notice.
And they knew we were pregnant because
They lived around the
the
corner.
landlords were like
Anyway.
down the road, and they absolutely knew.
But that's their decision, that's their property. But for us, that feeling of having a family and not in a really hot market and not knowing where we were going to live was a feeling that Aaron and I said, we never want to feel this again. And that was a turning point for us to really make us invested into wanting to buy our own home.
Yeah.
And
I think
I would say
the investing journey had got us to that point.
Absolutely.
And then at that point we said, no, we really wanted our own home. We want to put down roots.
Yes.
At no point ever was someone going to tell us, that's it, you can't live here anymore.
Yeah.
The next chapter was for us to have our own home. And that's where we engaged a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
Find us a property in this area. This is the budget. That property went to auction. So again, we've got massive empathy when clients are going to auction.
Yeah.
Mate, we feel it. I know the feeling. Like it's
the energy of when you're at an auction and it's a home that you want, the lead up to it, the energy on the day, you cannot describe it.
Yeah.
It's electric.
Yeah, it's nervous. You don't sleep the night before.
Yeah.
You're at the auction. The buyer's agent's like, don't even come. We're like, no, we're coming. We should have listened.
My favourite, I just have to share this really quickly for the listeners, is we've got a buyer's agent, Jack Corbett, who helped us buy, amazing Illawarra buyer's agent. And he is bidding for us. And then Aaron is standing next to Jack, arms folded, also bidding. And I was just like, Aaron, stop. Aaron was really...
I was the worst client ever.
The worst client. And was like, Aaron, it's all right. Jack's got it. It's under control. But it was that, I think we'd found the place for us.
We knew we wanted it.
Yeah.
And
but if you've got a buyer's agent bidding for you,
let them do their job.
Let them do their job.
I'll definitely say that. Poor Jack, made his life harder.
Yeah.
We got it. And I think we went in there, and that's what I said to any client when you go to an auction, get a buyer's agent. It was a flex when we got there.
Yeah.
Jack already knew the auctioneer. He knew the agent.
He knew the auctioneer's style of bidding. He knew how quickly he would go. He knew to slow it down. He knew to make the pace, at what level of the bids needed to be done at. And
so in my mind, like, we weren't leaving there until that house was ours. And I say to so many clients, like, oh, we'll just try and see. I was like, that energy is not going to match. Like, if you're going to auction, you go to win. Now, if someone's going to blow you out the water with a bid that's going to be at silly money, then you never had it to begin with, because they were going to always outbid you. But if you're going to put your best foot forward, we did the research. We knew who the auctioneer was. We knew the campaign. We knew how much we were going to spend. We knew our upper limit, for example. And I think some people go into auctions half-baked, not knowing their max purchase price or how much they're actually going to go for, to take that property off the market. And in my mind, I knew how the champagne was going to taste afterwards. Yeah. And I said that to people. I say it to clients all the time. I was like, how will the champagne taste after you win? They're like, what? I was like, you're going to win. Why are you turning up if you're not going to win?
Absolutely.
And a winning mindset plays out in so many different parts, whether that's winning in investing, winning in business, winning at auction, for example. When you turn up with an energy to win, it shifts the entire balance of power in your favor. Yeah.
Could I just make a quick note on auctions? Because we've spoken to clients about this in the past, is often there are these sort of imaginary budget cutoffs. Like someone will say, my budget's 1.5.
1.5, 1.75, 2 mil is these imaginary lines that people have.
Correct. So you might go, my budget's 1.5. No, it's not. I'm sure you could get 1.53.
Right, correct.
1.54. I'm sure you can find an extra 34 that just pushes it over that mark, because everyone has those arbitrary round numbers.
Yeah.
What is your absolute max? It might be 1, 2K, 10K, 20K, but that is seriously the difference in securing a property at auction versus not.
Right, correct. I've said it time and time again, which is, people have these imaginary round numbers, and the amount of times that real estate agents know that your budget is not 1.5.
Yeah.
There's more there.
Yeah.
No one ever stops at 1.5. Look at your borrowing capacity and take it to a round, to an odd number, not an even number.
Yeah.
And that could then flip that around. The amount of times I had clients that buy obscure numbers, 1, 7, 5, 6.
Yes,
500
absolutely. It never is 1.5. It never is 1.6. So what is your absolute cap?
Yeah. And yeah, don't be afraid to go a little bit above that, because if the next property you look at then prices increase over time, that property that you bought would just the market's going to keep lifting and rising, especially right now with all the government grants that have come out. I can tell you now, the market that we're in at the moment is COVID-esque. It's got all the hallmarks of COVID. You look at all the properties that are going to auction. You look at the amount of properties that are under contract. Days on market are low. There's little off markets or pre-markets. Every vendor is taking it to market, knowing that this is a hot market. It's a seller's market to be in. Yeah. So we come back to us. So we've been first home buyers, we've been rent investors, we've been owner occ, buying our family home.
We've purchased off the plan. We've purchased at auction.
Yeah. We've then bought through we've set up a self-managed super fund, bought through an SMSF as well. We've bought this property through a unit trust, in commercial, gone through CDC, gone through DA as well.
Yeah.
Gone through an entire build.
Purchased this through a put and call option as well.
Do you want to explain the
I can explain for sure. So the landlords that owned this property, we were negotiating with them around May, and they wanted to exchange in the next financial year because the capital gains event is captured on exchange of contract, not on settlement. And they needed to push it to the next financial year. So what we did is agreed on a put and call option. So we agreed or put the price as the price, and then in August, when the landlord would call on us to exchange on the contract at that price that was agreed back in May. So that's a little tip for people who might need to push property transactions out into financial years. If you've got someone who's willing to buy at a certain price point, you can do a put and call option. So that was about May, and then I believe we exchanged in August. So it was about a 4-month turnover, 4-month waiting time for us, but that allowed us, and it was to our benefit because it allowed us to work with the designer, start sourcing the certifiers, get a bit of a plan moving forward on how we we're going to move forward on this commercial build. So it helped us buy a lot of time as well.
Yeah, commercial. Then we're dealing with designers, builders, like that whole realm of experience then starts to come out. You had no experience in it. You started to deal with multiple stakeholders. That was massive for us. And we had this mortgage plus our home, 13 rate rises during that time. You want to talk about cash flow pressure?
Yep,
mate. We know all about it. So when clients are talking to us about cash flows a bit tight, absolutely, mate. I get that. I understand that as well. There would be times where, and I think we've spoken about this, 2 a.m, we're up going, these numbers just don't stack up and we can't sleep going, what have we done? Have we made a mistake here? But at that point, we said, it's too late. We've already committed to this. We can't sell it. We're not going to sell it. How do we then push through this period of discomfort?
Yeah, I think Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. And that is, when I think about that time that you're referencing, to me, and it sounds so dramatic, it felt like hell. It felt like, what have we done? We've committed to this enormous mortgage, this commitment, this build. There's no one coming to save us. And then we had to really look at ourselves, look at the way we were operating, and make some really tough calls on things that we needed to change. Spot on.
We went through a massive period. Our accountant, Ronald, was massive to us at that point as well. Just going, look, this is the state of play. What can we do? We had a really good conversation with our accountant. And so you need that trusted advisor. So while no one's coming to save you, you can put your hand up. You can ask for help.
Absolutely.
Our banker at NAB who helped us finance this was fantastic. We'd acquired another business as well, so we had a loan for that.
Yep, I think we acquired 2 businesses.
We bought 2 brokerages at that point as well. So you talk about giving it an absolute nudge. I mean, we've never sat here. We'll never die wandering. Is kind of our is our modus operandi for Bernie and I. That's largely driven by myself. Bernie will go off and get the loans, and you'll get everything sorted. But yeah, to me, I'm always going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. It's not in my nature to sit still. And some clients will really resonate with that energy. Others, when they've got so much equity and they're not doing anything with it, I'm like, you will regret this. You will look back in 5-10 years when the market has doubled and you go, mate, I should have done something. And at that point, I probably have lower empathy for clients, because I'm like, it's not that I told you so. It's going, why did you not take action? And if you're listening to this and you know you've got equity in your property, you know you've got borrowing capacity, you know the market's going to continue to go up, I've got to ask the question, why are you not taking action? And if it means you need to stop this episode, grab a journal, grab some notes, and actually work through your own demons inside your head. That's a little bit of homework for you to do, which is, what is stopping you from taking action? Because if we've done the strategy for you, you know your numbers and you know the market's still continuing trucking along, you only got yourself to blame if you're not taking action.
There's definite barriers for sure. And also a lot of people we work with, they are investing as a couple. Understanding your risk appetite within your couple. So Aaron, as you can hear, is typically more risk pro.
I'll sleep with debt.
Yep.
In fact, I need debt. I need debt to get up and go to work.
Yep.
I have people, particularly in my circle, they're like, mate, I just can't wait to pay off my mortgage and have no debt. I was like, what are you going to do at that point, mate? You've got no impetus to get up and go to work. I can't understand this rush to like pay off the mortgage as quickly as possible, particularly younger, like 30s and 40s. What are you going to do? Like, there's got to be some level of purpose to get up and go to work. Now, I'm not saying get yourself up to the eyeballs, but I am saying to get up and have some purpose is massive. Like, this whole FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, doesn't appeal to me at all. Now, someone else loves that notion, fair play to you. But I think if you've got skills and you've got talent and you can contribute to your family and the economy, why aren't you doing that?
Absolutely. And I think for us, I'm less about the debt, debt makes me work. It's more, I think, about the legacy for my daughters, for our daughters. And I think about them buying and investing and getting into the market. And if we do not have assets backing us, we don't have property, we will need to assist them.
They need to see it. I think there's a big thing in that, Bernie, which is, as parents, you've got a massive responsibility. If you're telling your kids, oh, mate, it's going to be so hard to get in the market, they're just going to grow up with that type of rhetoric.
Oh, and we hear it.
We hear it all the time, like, oh, my kids will never get into the market. I'm like, yeah, with an attitude like that, yeah, they won't get in. In fact, you're planting the seed that it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
If you can have this attitude, I know it's hard. I know it's hard in 2025. In 2045, it's going to be infinitely harder for our 20-something-year-old kids to get into the market. But if we've laid foundations, one, to take care of ourselves first and foremost.
Of course.
First and foremost, the amount of times that people go, I need to buy for my kids. I'm like, why don't you buy for yourself and then your kids become beneficiaries of that?
Absolutely.
That's the right way to stack it. Yes, it's going to be hard. I wish our parents bought more properties.
Yep.
I can't control that. We are, and we're being very open. We're not banking on any inheritance. In fact, we probably won't get anything from our parents.
Mm-hmm.
We were given a very small, I won't say small, we were given an advance from our parents to buy that property from Little Bay.
Yep.
Equal footing from both our families to help us get in, to get that deposit, but we pay them back.
Yep.
So we've never had the bank of mum and dad to go, here's a gift or here's a big windfall, for example, to get you in. I've got no judgments against anyone.
No judgments if you have, because I'm super fortunate.
Correct.
Yeah.
But now what we're saying is we want to be those parents that go, yeah, I know it's hard, and we're going to help you get into the market with a massive leg up.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a level playing field in the future. It's going to be a period of haves and have-nots. And we're seeing that in 2025 right now. There are people that are able to get into the market courtesy of a bank of mum and dad versus those that are struggling to get in. And that gap will just continue to widen. Like, we will literally become a generation of renters, probably within that next generation. New York, London style. The only difference being is those countries have much better rental
rules,
legislation and rules.
Longer lease terms, like in Europe.
Pet friendly.
Yeah, you can have like 5 plus lease terms. Here it's like
you don't get that.
12 months.
Yeah, 12 months, and you're guaranteed that that's going to just increase. $50 a week, and you got to suck it up or move as well. But coming back to the experience share. first-time buyers, rent investors, self-managed super fund, commercial, investment properties now through trust, individual names, for example.
Yep.
Working with multiple different lenders, working with different entities. Our team has gotten bigger. There's buyers agents, there's accountants, for example, there's us. And as the team has gotten bigger, the amount of loan splits that we have across different banks, yes, you manage that. There's a whole lot of admin that comes with it as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's part of the journey. The amount of clients, again, they go, oh, I can't have multiple banks or I can't have multiple splits. I'm like, guys, this is what the journey, this is what it encompasses. Like for our business to operate, I don't know how many different bank accounts we've got, the GST, PAYG, Vault account, spending account, you name it, there's bank accounts up the wazoo. That level of complexity is just part of the journey. And I can't sugarcoat that for people that go, this is getting a little bit complex. Yeah, like we have to get independent legal advice every time we go and buy.
Yeah, particularly through trust and your
Trust.
SMSFs. But that's why you have to develop a relationship with a good solicitor. And on that note, you should be with that solicitor setting up your will and your estate planning.
Oh, big time.
Looking at your insurances, like operating your investment portfolio the way you operate at work. Because I know majority of people are listening, they are sharp, they are wonderful operators at work, but they're not putting that same level into their investing journey. And if they had that same level of diligence, you would see that completely skyrocket. So I know that the listeners that are here are incredible, savvy, completely able to do it.
Got a very good astute listener base.
100%.
People reach out and like, they're professionals.
They're professionals. They've got multiple properties. Like these guys and girls that are listening can 100% do this. It does require carving out that time. Like growing up in our household, like with mum and dad, we had finance Saturdays. Yes, it is as nerdy as it sounds. I would sit my mum and dad down with a cup of coffee after breakfast on Saturday morning. We'd go through their mortgage, how much was owing, what their savings were looking like, how many extra repayments they could make. And that became a ritual in our household. And I would sit with dad and my mum would go off and into the kitchen and he would call mum back and say, Mum, be here, you have to listen to this. And he was always, he always included mum. And I think whoever is owning the admin of the investing journey for your household, please include your partner.
You have to.
In our relationship, I'm the owner of the admin, the bank accounts, the repayments. So I need to call Aaron in and I need to have a meeting with him. We usually have it, I'll be honest, we're a bit lax at the moment, but once a month to check in and see how things are going. And you need to keep that line of communication going. Whoever is the owner needs to communicate to the other person, this is how we're going. It's very much like a barefoot investor date budget night.
Big time.
Whatever that looks like for you guys.
Just on that point, so if you talk about like the progression in terms of, I guess, savviness, maturity, if you're starting out and your baseline, we can't get alignment, Barefoot's probably the best book to read to get a couple aligned.
I would say that, and maybe even before that, The Richest Man of Babylon. That book was an absolute game changer for us. We read that in Thailand, so just after we were married. Recommended by a wonderful restaurant owner in Phuket, changed our lives. It is fundamental, simple basics about how to manage your money, and it's universal truths that do not change. That would be the starting book I would recommend. Then Barefoot Investor, that could be a starting place.
Yep. And then I'd go Psychology of Money.
Psychology of Money.
And then I'd go Atomic Habits.
Yep.
If I'm to pick out some books that and again, if you want a copy of my book, if you're looking to buy, I'm happy to give anyone listening. Drop us a DM, go onto our website. We've got a little pop-up that drops up on the website. Put your details in there. Siobhan, my assistant, will get you a copy of our book. No questions asked. Yeah. So that's my gift to listeners. If I come back, the other part of experience is we're self-employed, and so many times I have clients that are dealing with bankers. I've got nothing against bankers. They're salaried. They don't understand business enough to go, right, here's how you structure your business. Here's where your cash flow goes. There's some incredible bankers, I've got no doubt.
We've worked with some incredible bankers too.
Right? But and even brokers, I'd say, look, I've coached brokers, and there's brokers that have been around for 7 years in their business. They don't do any self-employed loans. So that partly is crazy to me. But we do a lot. So self-employed and investors, the more complex stuff is our bread and butter, and high income earners. So to me, when anyone says, "Oh, I think my situation's complex," I guarantee you, I've seen it far more complex. Built massive property portfolios. Nothing intimidates us. For example, this isn't me spruiking for business. It's just to say, if you want experience, you want empathy, you want expertise that comes to the table, overlay that with some education like the podcast, I'm genuinely saying we want to put our best foot forward. We want to work with more incredible clients that want to grow their portfolios and want a team that have been there, done that. I can say that's what we offer. Yeah. And again, a couple investing, we know we've got very ambitious and lofty goals. Like we know when we're going to pay off our home. We know.
Well, we have a plan of when
to get there. That's like anything. It's going to start with a plan, then it's execution.
Yes.
And then off the back of that, yeah, we know there's of our budget, there's some play money and travel money. Something that I've been really proud of as well. We've just got back recently just from Hong Kong, Disney. That's something a bit on our family bucket list. Hey, we want to take our girls to Disneyland and give them experience of a lifetime. That's something that we worked actively towards, saved up for example, planted the seed with our kids. And it's amazing. Like once you put that on the wall, that sits fairly, on our bathroom mirror, for example, and we saw it every day. The kids saw it every day. So for that to come to fruition and reality was no accident because we visualized it, we saw it, we actively worked towards it as well. And if you're that way inclined, I'd say put a picture of an investment property on your bathroom mirror, put it on your car.
Create your vision board. Both of our vision boards are up in our bathrooms. We had holidays. We had a number of investment properties we wanted to buy this year. We are very close to achieving pretty much all those goals, plus even a little bit more, I think.
On this year's vision board.
On this year's vision board. Yeah. And so also in saying that, we're in October. There are still 3 months left of this year. It is not too late.
No way.
So do not write off this year if you're thinking, hey, like we said we were going to do this. We've only done, if you've only done 50% of that goal, there is still time.
There's what do you say? There's 3 months left. So it's a quarter of the year left.
A quarter of the year.
That would be like a sports team getting to the third quarter and go, right, the last quarter's a write-off.
100%. And going, oh guys, sorry, we've lost
the game.
Stop trying. Now
the AFL Grand Final would be a classic example of that. The AFL Grand Final was so close come three-quarter time. In the last quarter, Brisbane Lions just kind of shot out the gates. You can still win in that last quarter. Same with the Broncos as well. Didn't give up till the last minute. So if you I love sporting analogies, if you treat this last quarter as a chance to come home strong, there is still plenty of time, but the ball is in your court 100%. And you need to take action.
100%. I'd be putting the foot down now.
Yep. I think the last part that I want to wrap up on is as mortgage brokers, we can only win when our clients win. So I say your win becomes our win. So we've had to play the long game. Like 9.5 years in business means that we've had to have clients that are winning, succeeding, because we're paid on outcome. Our REM model, if other industries were paid like us, I'd see much different outcomes. So say, for example, we only get paid when the loan gets settled. We only get paid when a client buys that next property, for example. If I was to go to my doctor and get paid, they wouldn't get paid. When I got better, you'd see far different outcomes in medicine and health and well-being, as opposed to what we do is, hey, when you win, that's when we win. And people often ask me about commissions. When I do an equity release, for example, on a property, I don't get paid on that because you haven't used it. Right?
It's sitting in the offset account.
Fully offset. We spend a lot of time doing the strategy work, for example, to then do the loan application, to then get approved, to then get settled, and only after that do we get paid. So that's the model that we subscribe to. That's how it works in our industry. All I'm trying to say to people is, don't be scared of broker commissions. It's probably, in fact, one of the most fairest remuneration models, which were paid on success and paid on outcome. And I'm not sure what people's experience has been with using a mortgage broker, but I say to anyone, the philosophy here is you're not buying loans, you're buying homes. The game is buying property. You simply, and Tom Panos says it the best, you marry the home, you date the rate. So the rate is temporary. At any given point, you can take that loan, chop it, change it. It's the property is the asset that you are buying. And that's the philosophy that we have here. Yes, we are mortgage brokers, but the asset that you are buying is the property. And that's the one thing that we focus on heavily, which is what separates us probably from the other 23,000 brokers in our industry who are just going, here's a loan, here's a rate, here's the features and benefits of a loan. I'm going, the loan is simply the tool or vehicle to go off and buy more property as well. And if you subscribe to that type of mentality, going, yeah, I want to be buying more better quality assets.
Yeah.
I want to move into commercial, or I want to move into a unit, a trust, for example. I want to self-managed super fund. We've got the expertise here. We've got the technical knowledge in how to do it. Now, if you want to kind of build this A-grade team to help you build a high-quality, high-performance property portfolio, got to reach out, and we'd love to help more people as well. So coming back full circle, the decade that we've had in this business has yielded some incredible results, given us the ability to go off and do something like this, which is property, commercially. It's built an amazing team. We have been regarded as one of the top mortgage employers in the industry recently, which I'll include some details about as well. We don't rest on our laurels when it comes to the award stuff. It's great. It's nice to have. The job, we need to keep going, but we have invested heavily into our team, and that's returned dividends because the team that we have here are phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
The better team that we have, the more clients that we can help support. And I feel really passionately about the ethos and the culture that we've built here in this business, because we have been on that investing journey for the last 10 years. And we have lived and breathed every element of any element that you are thinking about or you are currently in. And we 100% have been there and can help you.
Yeah. Cool. So I hope you've really, really got a lot out of that, this chat. Like I said, Bernie and I want to pull back the curtains a little bit, share a little bit of our journey. If you're a couple in investing, just know that we've got your back. We've been there, same trials and tribulations we've experienced as well. But I can also say we didn't get here by agonizing on these decisions. At some point, we had to pull the trigger and move forward as well. So if that's you and you want to pull the trigger, love for you to reach out to us, drop us a line, let's have a chat. And until next time, that's a wrap for another episode of the Australian Property Investment Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.